Welcome to the Kelly Sullivan Walden Show, where we explore nighttime dreams, daytime desires, and the best ways to transform the tragic into magic. Because let's face it, we all dream, we all have our blessings, and we all have our challenges, myself included. And I don't want any of us to take any of those things lying down, if you know what I mean. I just wrote a book entitled A Crisis is a Terrible Thing to Waste. I'm excited to explore the topic with you, whether it relates to your waking or sleeping dreams, because we're dreaming all the time, people. So let's make it the best dream possible. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome. Welcome, everyone, to the show today. I have a treat for you, and I am so excited. So let's just dive right in. I am talking to Laurel Woodward. She is a wife, a mother of four, and a witch. So there we go. Let's just let that sink in. Ha ha. And she wrote an amazing book called Wellness Witchery. Oh, wow, that was awkward. Let me see, Wellness Witchery, and I know, and let me see if it'll show up in here. It's not letting me. But okay, I'm gonna just put it on the same plane. There we go. There it is. It's a beautiful book by Llewellyn, and I am loving this book. It is so filled with recipes and suggestions, magical approaches to nourishing the body, mind, and spirit. So here's a little bit about Laurel. She's a witch with 20 years of experience. Laurel Woodward has written for magazines and e-zines on healthy living, organic gardening, sustainable living, and the magic of tapping creative energy. So she is the author of Kitchen Witchery and Backyard Garden Witchery. And her website is, oh my goodness, your website is liminallandscapes.com. I need to take a look with my glasses. So welcome to the show today, Laurel. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you. It's an honor.
So I have to say, for the last week since I've been absorbing your book, I've been noticing how, so I wouldn't typically call myself um, a kitchen witch at all, or even somebody who is like that attuned to plants. So I'm embarrassed to say that, but I sure do appreciate them. And reading your book and being in the energy of your book, I feel like I've become so much more aware of how every single thing that touches my lips or enters my body or that I put on my skin, even in the lotion, it's all natural remedies. It's all these
Yeah.
beautiful tinctures and essential oils. And I'm literally surrounded by it every day. And I didn't even notice how big of an impact that has on me. So bring us back to the beginning of your journey with how you became a wellness witch, we could say.
Well, I love to cook and I love to garden, and working with plants is just something I do. And I started long time ago. I started keeping notes about how I responded to different things and how, and then I put together. I'd start with one, get to know one ingredient, and as I learned how that affected me and how I responded to it, I would incorporate other things into it. Like right now, my favorite brew that I'm working with a lot is chamomile, lavender, and lemon balm.
Mm.
They're, they're uplifting and soothing, and just have they support your nervous system while helping your outlook elevate. Uh, each of us are different. We each respond to things differently. My daughter loves lavender. My son hates it and thinks it tastes like soap. Um,
Mm.
So when you're working with something, you really need to pay attention to how you are reacting with it, and whether it's something
Right.
positive or something negative, and start from there. Um,
Mm, that's great. I also thought it was interesting that you talked about during COVID, that was a time where it was difficult. It was emotionally difficult for
yeah,
so many reasons. And really this book, as did so many books, so many creative works came out of that time where we
yes,
had to, in some way, we were connected to the whole world because it was the first time that the whole world was going through a difficult time, but at the
right.
same time, focusing externally where we have no necessarily no power or any control, you became very focused on your own kitchen and your and the
Yes.
thing and the herbs in the garden, like right around your perimeter. So
And
talk
my
about that.
bathtub took
In
a
your
main
bathtub, right?
focus. I found real
Right.
comfort in bath magic. Um, I was
Wow.
trying to work on a book on energy magic, and it just wasn't finding its legs. And I
Mm,
did a panel, a Llewellyn panel on Yule food, the magic
mm,
foods of Yule. Um,
mhm.
and a listener asked if COVID and the lockdown had affected my practice. And actually, I hadn't thought about it till then. And it got me thinking that, oh my
Mm.
gosh, my whole practice had shifted. I was no longer doing, big rituals for prosperity and abundance. I had shifted into small rituals for comfort and solace. Um, and I had started using all the nervines and adaptogens in my yard. They had become the main ingredient in my formulas. And uh, they had become, a main ingredient in my work. And that morphed into wellness witchery. The next day I started with plant
Interesting.
profiles for the things I was using.
Oh my goodness. Okay, what was there's a movie, I'm sure you know which one, about that came out a couple of years ago about a young girl who's raised in like the swamps in the bayou, and she
Uh,
ends up, do you know which one I'm talking about?
I think,
Oh,
Crawdad Sing.
it'll
Is it the Crawdad Sing one?
Crawdad,
Yeah.
where the
Yeah.
crawdads sing. Oh my gosh, yes. And I got the chills because I was thinking about that, like how she starts off, she starts sketching.
Mhm.
You talked about sketching and drawing some of these herbs and having that be a way that we learn them, like we're getting to know
Yes.
a new friend.
Yes.
So
One thing, a plant can be an ingredient, or you can spend time with it. You can get to know it. You can look up its lore and its history.
yeah.
You can start to use it. And the more attention you put on it, it
Mm,
evolves. It evolves into an ally. It gains power, and it's quite magical how that works. How that, by feeding
mm.
something our attention, gets it to evolve.
It's so interesting because I don't claim to be good at this kind of stuff, but I'm starting to notice all the synchronicities I have
Mm.
in my life about this. So maybe this is good for all of us. But I am remembering when one of my dogs died a few years ago, and I had a dream about a hamlet. That's all I remember, a hamlet the next day. But I went out looking for a plant to garden with, to like plant in her
Mm.
honor. And while I was there, someone walked by and they said the word Hamlet. And I said, why did you just say that? And she said something about how Hamlet, the poet, said something about how Rosemary
Mm.
in I think it was one of the plays, it was in the Hamlet. It was Shakespeare said in the play Hamlet about how Rosemary helps us remember.
Rosemary for remembrance.
For remembrance, exactly. So I was like, what? And then lo and behold, there's this beautiful rosemary bush. So I bought that
Uh,
in honor of my dog. So every time somebody gives me a sprig of rosemary, I have such a connection, and I do love the smell and I do love
yeah.
the taste, but that was like such a special thing. Have you noticed any connection to dreams? I often talk about dreams on this show. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but
Oh yes.
is
Yes. I have a very vivid dream life. And I
yeah.
keep a dream journal so that I can go back over and see what I've done. Um, Yeah, one way, plants can't talk to us, but one way that they do communicate with us is through dreams. Um,
Mm, right.
yeah.
Right, like something to try or something to taste
Mhm.
or as odd
Just
or
inspiration. Yes.
right, right. So true. One thing I loved in your book. So first of all, in your book, there is quite an index here in the table of contents that goes on for pages and pages about all of these different ways to be able to formulas and exercises to improve your mood, for positivity, for relaxation, for boosting your immunity, and then um, for different exercises, baths and spells, and kitchen witchery recipe and herbal formulas. It goes on and on. I'm just like, for a good night's rest, I keep falling into that Hawthorne wellness infusion, peace to the mind. I mean, I don't know that I've ever seen a table of contents like this. The positive power blend. Um, in addition to all of that, and I do want to ask you about you did talk about your favorite one that you're using right now with chamomile, lavender, and the
Lemon balm.
lemon
Lemon
balm.
balm.
But I also love that you talked. So here's a little synchronicity where you talk about the days of the week and their connection to the planets and their connection to even some Greek mythology and
Mhm.
Roman mythology beyond an just interestingly because I love symbolism.
Uh,
I don't think I had ever really thought of the days of the week
mm.
as being specially and specifically connected to a god or a goddess or a particular energy, and then having herbs that then kind of coincide to give us a real alignment.
Align
So
with it and boost it. Yeah.
so let's just for those who are interested in this, the days of the week. I had never thought about this before, and suddenly it's kind of bombarding me everywhere. So talk a little bit about the connection to the days of the
Okay.
week and the planets and
Um, well, each of the days of the week were named after a different god. When Rome fell, they took on some of the names of the pagan names. Um, Sunday is Sol, the sun. A good day, full of beneficial father energy. Monday is the moon, Selene. Um, it's great for intuition and inner wisdom, divination. Tuesday is Aries, warlike energy, great for conquests, battles, protection. Wednesday, Mercury, communication.
today.
Yeah,
If people are
it,
watching or listening in real time,
yeah,
it's
and
Wednesday.
any acts of travel or communication or learning. Thursday, Jupiter, uh, generous god of abundance. That's prosperity. Um, Friday is the mother love, Diana, um, family, romance. And Saturday is Saturn. Um, he's like a Loki energy. Hard lessons learned through karma, protection. Also, all he was an agricultural god, so all work around the house, chores, all of that. Have you ever had a day where you're trying to do something and the universe just seems to be against you and it's all uphill and you just can't get past the obstacles?
Never.
And then
I've
you have
never
it,
had that in my life.
and then you have a
No,
day.
I've heard about people that have had that, but it's always a flow for me. Just kidding.
And
Keep
then you
going.
have a day where like the wind is at your back and just everything just opens, the doors open. Part of that is that you are working with there are energies at work around us. And if we align ourselves, our intention with the energy that's there, it helps us. It's like a opening pathway. Um, so that's why if you do start to study the energy of the days and then do either set your intention, create a decision so that it aligns with the power, it will support it. It will support
Right.
your journey
And then I
instead
think
of blocking it.
right.
Obstructing it.
The image that I got while you were saying this is that it's kind of like being on a people mover
Mm.
going in the direction that you're headed
All
and
right.
being supported so that you're going more swiftly, and there's like an added boost, as opposed to we can of course use our will to go against it, and we can
Yes.
get where we want to go, but it's just a lot harder. So having this awareness, which is ancient,
Mm.
and using that in our modern day, it doesn't mean that we can't do whatever the heck we want. Because I know some people are like, Mercury retrograde, full moon,
Yeah.
new moon,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
It's Christmas, I can still work, or I can still, whatever. But it's the difference between being in the flow versus
Yes.
swimming upstream. So I just want to, just for the fun of the wordplay. So the Sunday is obvious. It's connected to the sun,
Yes.
that planet, and there's a lot of bright light. There's that father energy, and then on Monday, so people might say, "Wait, what's Monday? Oh, Moon
Mm.
Day.
Yeah.
Oh, Moon. Okay, so there's that, and then it's also in Spanish,
Latin.
lunes,
Oh,
in
yes.
Latin,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, and in French, I'm learning
Mm.
French,
Yeah.
lundi. So it's like, oh yeah, the luna,
Right.
the lunar energy that shows up on that day. And isn't it interesting how opposite Sunday is to Monday?
Mm.
That, I mean, I often think of Sunday as like the day of rest, but not necessarily. There's kind of energy there. Monday is more of the take a breath and be more mellow kind of a
Yeah.
day. That's
It
kind of
is.
radical,
Yeah. It
isn't
is.
it?
Mm.
No wonder people say it's just another manic Monday, because they're trying to get out there and do the thing when it's really a
When
day
it's really
to.
come to center and look within and use your intuition. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then Tuesday, so that's Mars. So mardi in French,
Yeah.
or in Spanish. Let me see, lunes. I can't even think of it. I've been learning French, so I
Mm.
can't even think of it in Spanish. But so it's got Mars in the name,
Mhm.
about going to war. So on Tuesday, it would be about like fight the battles, or what are some other ways to think of that?
Conquest, protection,
Conquest.
protection,
Interesting.
fortification, um,
Mm. And that could even be on a
acts.
health level. So with
Yeah.
regards to herbs and things, it
Mhm.
could be about like immune boosting.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Action, forward action, beginnings, starting, anything like that is.
So if you even tie that into a new moon cycle, which is
Mhm.
about like starting something, or as it begins to wax, the wax thing, then that would be like,
Yeah.
so on a Tuesday during that time, that would be like especially intense. Would that be?
Well, it could be, and a lot of it, when you work in the moon, as the moon grows, we pull things to us, and as the moon wanes, we push things away. And you can work for pretty much whatever you want. You just have to formulate your intentions to represent the energy that's there if you want to take advantage of it. Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, just by changing your words around, okay, name something you want to accomplish.
Oh my heavens. Okay, well, I'm working on my next book. So
Okay.
yeah, I'd love to have that be very successful.
So if the moon is going from, if it's waxing, you
Right.
can say the knowledge comes to me, the words flow.
Mm-hmm.
My you so you pull it in, and if it's waning, then you say, um uh my blocks drop away.
Right.
I open as the obstructions fall away. It's just a shift, but you're still
Right.
going in the right direction, the same direction. You've just taken
Oh,
a different
interesting.
look at it.
Oh, that's so good. Okay, so let's get back. So Wednesday is so in
Communication.
communication. So it's connected to Mercury. In
Yes.
Spanish, it's miércoles, and in French, it's mercredi. So it's got Mercury right there. So that's so communicate, express yourself on a day on for anybody who's listening and or watching this on a Wednesday or in real time.
Right.
So this would be say the thing that you want to say, or like
Well,
that
yes.
John Mayer
Or,
song, say what you want to say.
have in a meeting, you have your voice.
Right.
It's a time for communication, and
Mm.
travel too. Um, so it's working with other people. It's any sort of work like that.
So there's so I am always drinking throat coat tea
Mm,
from like the yogi tea version of that. I'm sure I could make that on my own, but in some way that helps my throat. And
mhm.
so that would be something on a Wednesday, for
Yes, you
example, like on
could.
a day of communication, where a way to tie
Right.
in earth with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
To grant your power to your words.
Ooh.
One thing I like to do in the morning is charm my morning mug. And so
Ooh.
I come to center, and as I pour in the hot water over whatever herbs I'm using, and my as it brews, I come up with an intention I want to set. And I charm my mug to help um support that intention. And I like to activate it with my breath by blowing across it and then
Mm.
smelling the scent as I decide how I'm going to work to get this to do what I need to do. Um, and it just sort of sets a tone for the day.
Oh, I love that. That is so beautiful. And for my dreamy friends watching or listening, if you have a mug or a drink nearby, which I imagine you do, I always tend to have three nearby at all times. So even if it's not in the making of it, even if you already made it, it's not too late to just add a little intention for what you're going to be ingesting.
Right. And
You know,
the herbs I use, I usually tell them with my words what I want it to do as I put them in
mm,
or as I start to brew it. Because part of that is a psychological trigger. Our brains believe what they hear. So
right.
it supports your actions to
Oh,
to go do this.
that's beautiful. And for anybody who's familiar with dream incubation, it's kind of like, well, there's this natural process. I mean, we're going to be drinking throughout the day, we're going to be eating, we're going to be dreaming, we're going to be sleeping, but we might as well taking a shower, washing our hands. We're going to do these ordinary things in the day, but these are trigger moments to
And they are.
call in what we're wanting to bring in or what we're wanting to release,
Yes.
and to be intentional. I mean, that's kind of a way to be lucid as
Mhm.
we're walking throughout our lives. What a beautiful thing to do. And I'm going to start doing that more as a result of having this conversation with you and holding on to this beautiful book, which hopefully, it
Thank
shows up. Wellness Witchery. Okay, so we've got Wednesday and now we come to Thursday. Thursday was harder for me because I was like, wait, Thursday, jeudi or jueves, and then oh wait, it's kind of got the Jupiter in there. So it's Jupiter energy,
Yes.
which is, I think that's one of the planets that I probably know the least.
He's a
So
benevolent
what's
father god,
Father
very
God? Okay.
generous, very supportive. It's
Okay.
all about, the colors are purple and green, and it's all about
Hmm.
abundance and prosperity.
I need to know more about this planet. Oh my goodness, Jupiter. For some reason, I remember somebody saying something a long time ago about Jupiter being judgy, like having a judgment, and that's just something that stuck. So is that not necessarily true? I mean, if it's like a father energy, maybe on the
Oh, well,
shadow
I
side of
guess
it, but
he could have Saturn's more judgmental.
oh,
Uh, Jupiter's known for his benevolence. Um,
benevolence.
but he could,
Okay.
you know, there could be uh, I'm not familiar with that aspect of him, but he could have it, could be there.
Okay. Wow. All right. Well, this is an important one. So Thursdays. Ooh, I'm
That's where you
thirsty
want
for
to do all your
Thursdays.
abundance work on a Thursday.
Hey, all right, everyone, get ready. Oh my goodness, this is great. Okay, so then we go to Friday.
Mm.
So,
Romance, love,
and that's
family.
right. And the Latin is, I know in French it's vendredi and viernes in Spanish, so that's
Venus.
Venus.
Yeah.
Venus
Diana,
or
Venus,
Aphrodite in the
Aphrodite.
Greek. So that's love,
Yeah.
sensuality,
Yes.
passion, creativity. Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting. Ooh,
Anything in
I
the house too. You
oh,
know,
like
your house, your home.
interesting.
It's the mother
Ah,
goddess.
so that's this like kind of creature comforts or things that
Hmm.
are
Yeah.
sensual and that
Yes.
feel good to. Mm. And what's so if we're thinking in terms of herbs, like you say a lot here about the one, I can't remember what section you wrote about this, but herbs that make you feel good are the chamomile, lavender, and the lemon, what did you call it?
Balm,
Lemon
lemon
zest?
balm.
Lemon balm.
Lemon balm is in
Yeah.
the mint family. It grows like a weed. It has a very light lemony scent and flavor. It's really easy to use because it tastes great. You can infuse it into brews to drink. You can make a large
Mm.
infusion, pour it in your bath water and soak in it. If you don't have a bathtub, you can do a foot soak. Um, you can even chop it up and use it as an herb like you would basil. Um, it's very
Lemon
versatile.
balm.
And
Lemon balm.
it grows like a weed. It's because it's a mint. Um, so
How
it's a really
interesting.
wonderful herb,
So
and
many
it
of the
is an
things that we
herbine.
think.
It supports the nervous system. It has a gentle, uplifting energy to lift your outlook and
Mm.
support, balance your emotions.
In so I one of my favorite essential oil blends is Thieves. I'm sure you're familiar with that from
Which
Young
one?
Living. Thieves, they call it
Oh,
Thieves, where
yes,
it's a blend
yes.
of the like cloves
Hmm.
and
The
I remember it's like a really healing.
folklores behind that is a group of thieves developed this so that they could rob people during the plague, and it protected
Yes.
them. Yeah, yeah,
Which sounds horrible,
yeah.
but
But
hey, if it
it
kept
is
them
good
from
for
getting the bubonic plague,
right,
if
right.
it's good enough for that, then hey, bring it.
Sure.
I
And
just put it right down my throat.
that's a good protection formula um, for all kinds of protection. To not even for your health, but for your mood, for your outlook, and to keep a negative energy away. Um, if
Yeah,
you
it
have
feels
a
like
you
it.
have a altercation, you can use that to remedy the encounter. Get rid of the negative vibes. If you have a
By
neighbor
smelling
that's
it,
uh
tasting it.
just
Okay.
using
If
it
you
any
have
way
a
you want,
neighbor.
if you have a neighbor that's bothering you, put it between you. Make a
Ooh,
barrier with it, and that all works.
that's
Um,
interesting.
oh,
Oh, I love that.
so lemon balm in essential oils is often known as Melissa.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
oh,
lemon balm.
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I had a I before Gary Young from Young Essential Oils,
Oh,
before he
yeah.
passed away, a few years before, I was invited to his farm in Washington, and I got to be there for the harvesting of of lavender. So I got to
Oh,
be a
lovely.
part of that, which was
Yeah.
so special to just see how beautiful it smelled and the colors and the, oh my God, it was so magical. But when he spoke of Melissa,
Mhm,
he was in tears. He
mhm,
talked about how you can't push her when it's time, like when you think it's time to harvest, if she's not ready, then it will, the whole batch will go will I don't know, won't go well. But you
mm.
have to treat her, he said, you have to treat her like a woman. And I love that. You have to wait for her to open up and be
Hmm.
ready. And I love that. What's your experience of this? I didn't
Well,
realize it was
I
the same.
I don't use the essential oil like that. And I understand he's probably has to wait until she's
To,
close to blooming to get the
mhm,
essential oil that he needs.
mhm.
I use it like mint, where I can use it anytime I want, as long as it's not moldy. Once it starts raining here, you have to
Mm.
start using the things you've dried to get ready, or you can, you know, and you could poison yourself with mold, or become toxic with mold. Um,
Right, right, right. You said that one of the ways that you found out about what grows around you is there's apps on the phone that you
oh
can
yeah,
take a picture of it.
yes.
And is there one that you recommend?
Um, at the time I was using iNaturalist. I think there's a easy one called Plant ID.
Okay.
Um, it's good to use a couple different ones because I've gotten some really wrong information.
Oh,
I just wants to give you the first thing that comes up. So you do have to be
mhm.
careful when you're using those. Um, but
Doesn't
that's
hurt
a
to
good way to
cross-reference it.
start. And you know what? If you take it and you draw your plant, then you're memorizing it and putting it in your mind so that
Oh,
you can
interesting.
recognize it more easily. Um,
Interesting.
and there are some plants that are harmful in our environment that you don't want to come in contact with, and sometimes they look a lot like the ones that we're looking for. So it is important to make sure your identifications are correct.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the last one, Saturday. So
Mhm.
we've gone through the whole week
Saturn.
twice now. So Saturn, that one, just like Sunday, that's kind of so obvious, or Monday is also Moon Day. So the energy of Saturn, you said
Mhm.
that's the one that would have judgment or
Yeah, it
discernment.
could.
And what
Less
else does
hard
that?
lessons learned through karma.
All
Well,
right.
Saturn is a very complex god. He's kind of like a low-key god. But a long time ago he was an agricultural god. So
Oh,
he will bless your work for chores and gardening and improving anything around the house. Saturday is also a day for fun and festival and gatherings and relaxation and enjoyment. It's all kinds of things.
wow.
It's one of the harder ones to get to profile because it's so
Yeah. It's
large of
not
a
just one
yeah.
archetype, but the
Yes.
lessons learned through karma
Mhm.
and the fun and the
Oh,
expression,
protection also though. It's great for
protection.
protection magic too.
Oh
Um, yeah.
my
Yeah.
God.
Saturdays you can do quite a lot.
We need a new Saturday song. Like I know the, what was that? SATURD.
Yeah, yeah.
Remember that from when I was a kid. Bay City Rollers.
I think so.
I
Yeah.
think maybe you need to write that new song that has like a different verse for the different archetypes within this
You wouldn't
archetype.
say that if you ever heard me sing.
Oh my goodness. Well, your book, Wellness Witchery, sure does sing a magical approach to nourishing the body, mind, and spirit. This is this is not one of those books that you read once and you put away. It's a book that you keep in the kitchen. It's a book that is sacred. This is a book that I'm going to keep in my kitchen, and I don't keep many books in my kitchen. Shh. But I'm going to keep this one in my kitchen. And I highly recommend this to people that whether you already fancy yourself somebody who communicates with plants and connects to the plant world, or somebody like me that's kind of like, well, I know what's pretty and what smells good and I know what I like. If you're like a baby beginner like me, I think either way, this is just a way to be able to connect to the more natural world and be in sync in that relationship. And also one of the things that you say in here is when it comes to happiness and gratitude, sometimes we just need to get very personal, and we might not be able to fix the whole world out there.
Right.
Although, if we take care of ourselves individually, then we're going to have a ripple effect. So, say that you said that much more eloquently in your book, but can you
Oh,
speak to
thank you.
that as we
Yeah.
get ready to close out here?
Well, if you if you are feeling hollow, if you're feeling sad, I found that if you narrow your view to your life and your blessings and what's going on right in front of you, it has the power to instill hope. It lifts you out of the doldrums and gets your outlook back on track. And gratitude is a wonderful tool for doing that. Just be thankful. Hold gratitude in your heart. And be thankful. Look at things through a rose-colored lens. Instead of seeing the darkness, see the good in things. Our reality is our perspective. So when we decide to look at things in a positive light, everything, the things that we see shift into a I don't know what to say there.
No, but I can feel it. It's so
Mhm.
true. I mean, and to bring it to, I mean, I don't typically talk in the realm of witch or not witch, but it feels like our words are spells, and the things that we think about, we bring about. So
Yes,
we're magicians, we're wizards, we're witches,
we are. We
and
create our reality,
yeah,
whether you know it or not.
right.
You can start, you can set your whole day by setting an intention in the morning for it to be a good day. If you decide it's going to be a good day and the beauty of the day blesses you and gives you strength, you'll have a good day. And even if something goes wrong, you can get back on track by putting that intention out there again, that everything is going to be good. Everything is positive. You know, it's a frame of mind.
Last thing, I I don't think I've ever, in all my years of doing spiritual work, I don't think I've ever thought about gratitude and happiness as a function of narrowing
Mhm.
my focus. I've always, from because I'm a from a dream perspective, I think one of the blessings of dreams is that they can take us out of our mundane and narrowed perspective and give us a much more universal collective perspective. And I tend to feel more grace when I pop open to the larger
Yes.
perspective.
Yes.
But there's something, so it's kind of like the most macro perspective and the most micro perspective have a lot in common. It's
Mhm.
kind of like how in one breath, it's like the breath of life universally. And maybe it's what's in the middle that gets us in trouble. When I try to think about like what's happening across the street or at my family around the corner or the world in Gaza, it's like
Yeah.
plummet.
Yeah.
But if I get really micro, I am breathing right now. I have beautiful tea to drink right now. I'm talking to this amazing woman right now. There's the technology that's connecting us. I'm very micro. There's blessings in that. And then if I think in the vast universal place, then there's peace there. It's just
Mhm.
that middle place. What were you about to say?
No, that's exactly right. I mean, if the news bombards us with all of this negativity, you know,
Yeah,
there's war, there's the economy, there's
yeah.
global warming, there's, you know, everything is
The
just a punch to the gut.
politics and the
Yeah,
presidential race
exactly.
and the
And
yeah.
we can let all that weigh us down, or we can look at what is positive and what is good and what we are thankful for. And yeah, when I said narrowing, I meant away from the world picture.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, like
Yeah.
yes, into those very micro things that are
Yes.
happening. I mean, in
Right.
treating ourselves like we're plants,
Yeah.
we're
Yes.
feeding letting
Right.
ourselves grow with the
Mhm.
sunlight and watering ourselves and then pruning those
Mhm.
thoughts that aren't so not
Yeah.
so good. We're not
That
so
hold us
different.
back. It allows you to rekindle hope. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I am going to make a new cup of tea and set an intention, and I invite you, my dreamy friend, to go and do the same thing. And Laurel Woodward, I am so grateful for you. I love your book, Wellness Witchery, a magical approach to nourishing the body, mind, and spirit. I want everyone to go out and get this book, get copies of it for your friends that are new to this, or the ones that have this down and they're going to learn a few things. My God, there's thousands. I don't know how many recipes are in here. Hundreds?
A
At least
lot.
a
I don't
hundred.
know. I don't
There's
know.
a lot. Yeah, there are pages and pages and pages, just the glossary, the table of contents. So what? It's complete. So thank you so much for spending this time with me. I feel like you've watered my soil and my soul on this Wednesday, this day of Mercury. I feel so blessed to be connected.
It was so nice to meet you. It was an honor. Thank you.
Keep doing the beautiful work that you're doing.
I thank you.
All right. And to everyone watching or listening, until we meet again, don't take your dreams or your plants lying down. Sweet dreams.
Thank you for listening to the Kelly Sullivan Walden Show. If you enjoyed this episode, take a moment to like, subscribe, comment, and share it with your friends. My show can be found on Apple iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to order my new book, A Crisis is a Terrible Thing to Waste, go to your favorite online or brick and mortar retailer, then head on over to kellysullivanwalden.com, tragic to magic. Input your order number and redeem your bonus gifts. I'm also excited to be offering a DreamWork practitioner training. So if that calls to you, go to kellysullivanwalden.com/dreamwork. If you'd like to join me for the live recording of these shows, most Wednesdays at noon Pacific, you can find me on Facebook at Kelly Sullivan Walden Dreams. If you have a question about your dreams or about how to transform your tragic into magic, email me at kelly@kellysullivanwalden.com. Until next time, remember, a crisis is a terrible thing to waste. And as you awaken to the power of your dreams, you make the world a lighter, brighter, more beautiful place, one dream at a time. Sweet dreams.